Welcome in, Slumpbusters. Hopefully your bracket isn't too far gone. I'm your host, Juju Talk Sports, joined, of course, by my co-host, Kyle Ledbetter. And joining us here today to talk all things NCAA tournament, all things March Madness, Vinny Hardy of Bleav In Kentucky and Cats Talk Wednesday. Speaking of those Cats, kind of undone by some Peacocks, which was probably the biggest surprise of the tournament. Vinny, just got to hear it. What was your instant reaction watching that game play out?
Appreciate y'all having me. First of all, when it was tied at halftime, essentially St. Peter's, stepped to Kentucky and said, "We're not going anywhere. We're gonna be here for 40 minutes. What y'all gonna do about it?" And Kentucky didn't handle it well. Kentucky didn't respond well. Georgia State hung with Gonzaga for about 30 minutes. And then Gonzaga hit him with that 41-14 run, whatever it was, knocked him out, threw a couple haymakers, and then the final score looked like, if you hadn't seen the game, oh, yeah, that's about what we thought. Kentucky never threw a haymaker, went on a big run, never imposed their will, and, went on a 27-2 run and separated and ran away from them. And then we got down to crunch time, and everybody got kind of tight. We're missing free throws. Kentucky's up 6. They come down and hit a couple threes. They backdoor cut Kentucky to death. They executed, did what they needed to do when they needed to do it. And then in overtime, clanking free throws. Severe Wheeler, we love him. He almost airballed one. He's over 80% from the line. So it was just a mess, man. It was a disaster, and you try to wrap your head around what you just watched, and it's just a shock, and you're like, did it really happen? So that's what these past few days have been about, like trying to put the pieces together. And it's 15s have beaten 2s before, but like I said on Bleav In Kentucky the other day, it's all fun and games until it happens to your team, and it happened to our team.
So what's the next move for Kentucky? Because we assume Oscar Tshiebwe is going to go to the draft, like most likely, I would think. And Coach Cal's going to be back, and some of the guys are going to be back in the fold there. So how does Kentucky rebound over the next couple of years from this devastating loss?
Devastating. Tshiebwe, with him being a foreign player from the Congo, he hadn't really been able to utilize NIL. They're trying to get some of that stuff worked out because he could have raked in NIL. Cleaning the glass. There's Windex stuff. He's wiping down the backboards after games. There's a place in Lexington called Big Old Tires that would be perfect for NIL for Oscar Tshiebwe if he could, take advantage of that and capitalize on that. If they're able to work it out, there's lawyers and all that stuff involved and trying to find loopholes and things of that nature. If he can reap the benefits of NIL, there's a chance he might come back. If not, you can't blame him for going to try to take care of his family and get that money. BBN is going to sweat Shaedon Sharpe because he joined the team mid-season, did not play. Everybody's under the impression that he's going to play next year. That's the thing. But if he's still a top pick like everybody thinks, he may leave as well, which I don't sweat that stuff as much. If he leaves, it's fine. But the fan base will live and breathe on every single second, every fresh Twitter until something happens one way or another. Cal's got to kind of look at the way he does things because you just have a 9-16 season where everybody was clowning you. Worst season in the history of the program. You do a lot of things right to fix that. You fix the shooting, you make some staff changes, you do a lot of these things, and then you get to the tournament and go out in the first round, so you're getting clowned again. All those same jokes and skepticism and questions are back. So he's going to have to really evaluate how he does things going forward too.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I mean, this is definitely a surprising outcome. And then obviously the last couple seasons haven't necessarily been what you expect out of a guy that's amongst the elite of college basketball head coaches. Coach Cal, would you say that this at all kind of puts him on notice, puts him on any kind of hot seat, or do you think he's just so ingrained in being Kentucky's head coach that he's bulletproof?
Well, he's got a lifetime contract, and the buyout is, as of now, is $52 million, so he's not going anywhere. So there's some fans that may want him gone, but they're just going to have to look. Everybody's kind of stuck with each other for a while, and maybe he isn't the same guy he was a few years ago, which his first 5 or 6 years there, you go to 4 Final Fours, you win a title. It's hard to sustain that. So after a while, you do kind of dip. Now, Kentucky fans, some expectations are unrealistic, but you can't sustain that. But maybe you can kind of get back, revamp, because there's been a while. Been 2015 since you've been to a Final Four, and in some people's minds, that's ridiculous. I was always of the notion that when they won a title in 2012, that was the 8th championship banner. I don't think that was enjoyed enough. I don't think that was savored enough. I think it was like, oh, cool. All right, let's go get 9. And it doesn't it's not easy. You won in 2012. Prior to that, you won in 98, won in 96. The last one before that, you went from 78 to 96 before you won a title. So you don't win titles every year. Outside of John Wooden's 10 in a row back 50 years ago with Kareem and Bill Walton, nobody wins title after title after title after title. It is hard. So the fans really don't realize that. But maybe he can kind of revamp it, get his groove back, if you will. It remains to be seen.
So looking at the rest of the tournament, besides obviously Purdue beating St. Peter's on, I think, Friday, what is some of the matchups that you're looking at going forward here?
Well, first of all, I was being petty. I felt a lot better after Tennessee went out to Michigan. That eased my pain because I can't stand Tennessee. So thank you, Juwan Howard and Hunter Dickinson, for abusing Tennessee's bigs. Of course, Texas Tech and Duke, being petty again, get Duke up out of there. I can enjoy the tournament in peace. I can relax and watch this tournament without any stress. So definitely gonna be watching that one. Villanova, I got them going to the Final Four. They're just sneaky, doing what they do. I'll be watching them again. And Miami took Auburn out. Old Larinaga is just doing his thing down there. So we're gonna be watching that. It's gonna be a bunch of good games. It's gonna be fun. But Texas Tech, come on, Red Raiders, and whoever, if Duke beats them, whoever plays Duke, that's who I'm rooting for.
So we got 4 double-digit seeds that are currently in this Sweet 16. If Duke wins this one, Coach K's last year, tournament's definitely rigged. I just got to put that out there into the world. That's definitely a thing. Between St. Peter's, Michigan, Miami, Iowa State, which of these double-digit seeds do you think is going to hang around the longest?
I'm going Michigan. Javon slapped old dude for Wisconsin, but he's still got Phil Martelli on the bench, and that's an old head coach with experience for days. Been in these situations, maybe kind of be a calming presence when they need it. So I'm gonna rock with Michigan to continue to keep the run going. It'd be cool to see St. Peter's do it, and they could. Purdue's got a lot of size, but maybe St. Peter's can just kind of run them to death and wear them out. They are well coached. They're not scared, and why not? Now it's house money. You already beat Kentucky. You beat Murray. They're the Kentucky State champs. I mean, why? So maybe they can keep it going too. So I'll go Michigan 1, St. Peter's 1A.
Oh, I like that pick, considering Iowa State plays Miami this week, which is going to be awesome. I like the pick there. What do you think about Gonzaga? Because I attest that Gonzaga has been a dynastic run that we don't talk about enough. They've been, if 2020 had a tournament, they would have been a 1 seed 4 straight years, number 1 seed 2nd year in a row. They play Arkansas tomorrow. They play either Texas Tech or Duke. Do you think Gonzaga could get back to the Final Four?
They could. I was on a podcast with Jack Ferris, who does radio for Gonzaga, the other day, and he's not as high on this year's team as he was last year's team, which was kind of surprising. And he was like, I'm just glad this year's team doesn't have to play last year's team. Memphis had them on the ropes and gave them a run. Was able to up double digits at halftime. They weren't able to hold on. And as far as dynastic, I can't give them dynastic when they haven't won a title yet. They now look, I'm old, so I was alive when they started this run that they were on in the late 90s with Dan Dickau and Adam Morrison and all that. Credit to Mark Few. They're a power. I can't give them blue blood. That's another level where you got to have tradition and consistent titles. And like Kentucky's case, you won titles with multiple coaches, not just like give Duke credit for K, but he's the only guy that's done it. So will it happen? Will it be sustained after he leaves? But your question about Gonzaga, I don't think they make it this year. Like I said, Memphis should have had him. He doesn't trust their guards compared to last year. So I think, and look, he's had him in a couple title games and he's done a lot of great stuff, but another year of them not quite getting over the hump if I had to pick. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just, if they win it, we'll all have to give them their props. They've come close, but still haven't got over that hump yet. So I'm not saying dynastic. I can't give them that.
Kyle, stop trying to change the definition of dynasty. It's not good to change. Okay.
Whatever.
Speaking of another 1 seed, Arizona. Arizona's my tournament champion. Arizona's who I went with, but they had to go toe-to-toe with TCU the other day. And some people think if it wasn't for a few calls, maybe TCU might have actually had them. What's your opinion on Arizona? They're seeming like the strongest 1 seed left to me.
And speaking of whistle, Duke kind of got a whistle against Michigan State too. But now that they got that TCU game in the rear view, that might be all you need. You got to be lucky in some. If you're going to win 6, you don't blow everybody out. There's a buzzer beater. There's something goes your way. You get a call like they did. Matherin is a monster. So it wouldn't surprise me and look, I don't, the West Coast teams don't get as much love. Everybody doesn't see them as much. Gonzaga out there in that weak conference, we just kind of give them the side eye. But Arizona's legit.
Well, who is your national champion then? I don't know if they got eliminated already, but like of the 16 left, who you got?
Of the 16 left, I would probably go Villanova if I had to pick. I did pick Kentucky this year. I don't every year. Of course, I hope they win it every year, but I don't fill my bracket out picking Kentucky every single time. I did this year, and of course, we see how that worked. But I think I'll go with Villanova in my second chance Sweet 16 redemption prediction bracket.
Well, Vinny Hardy, thank you for making it a Cat Talk Wednesday on the Slumpbuster podcast. Really appreciate you spending your time with us. Bleav in Kentucky. Got a couple of Bleav boys on this podcast between my co-host Kyle and Vinny himself. So go ahead and check out his podcast. Go ahead and check out Kyle's podcast, of course. Stay around for our podcast. Hit that subscribe button, guys, at Slumpbuster Podcast on IG, at Slumpbuster Pod on Twitter. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Juju Talk Sports, Kyle Ledbetter, and Vinny Hardy. We will see you next time.